Hello and welcome to the A Space, a podcast where we love to bring you the biggest names in world volleyball. We have been treated so far and we have another fantastic episode for you this week. Louis Lett here and I will be today's host. Myself and Dave Rogers share the presenting. We'll always be joined by our CV volleyballing mavericks of Matt Rogers and Daniel Meanley. Today we have, mate, I'm seeing how much effort you're putting in behind the scenes for this, and I think Maverick could be, I could even be underplaying you with that description. You and Dan are doing some heroic work, so you deserve it. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, really good. Excited for this one. As I said last time we had the guest on, love the States. So yeah, looking forward to chatting about it.
Yeah, I think I'm really intrigued to hear about how the college system works and how life in sort of have a good understanding of life in California, but it's always good to know a bit more. So we're waiting between four world stars to kick the A Space project off. We're recording remotely due to this current situation. London, Cornwall, Latvia today, and we're going to alternate these with our unscripted and debate series, which will come out on Friday. Right, Matt, are you ready to go again? Shall we meet our guest? Because she is one of the brightest young talents, which we've said on every episode, but she's also enthralling and intriguing to listen to, and her story is really interesting, and that's why today is going to be another great episode. 2018 FIVB top rookie, 2019 most improved team with partner Anastasia Klavchenica, 2019 European champ, first ever AA collegiate beach volleyball player to qualify for the Olympic Games. Gold in 2016 at the under-22 European champs, gold at the 2015 under-18 European champs, and a third at the under-17 world champion in 2014. Tina Graudina, welcome back to the A Space. We have missed you in the time.
Hello, so good to be here.
It looks colder today, Tina. You're wearing a coat today.
Yeah, it's the north wind. It's making everything much colder.
And you were right. I assume that you listened, but you were right. The mystery man is Russian.
Okay, that's good to hear. I'm happy about that. At least something.
Yeah. And we've had a few more clues. So should we top the show with this time, and we'll quickly run through. And Tina, you can give us your guess.
We're getting to the point where the mystery man. We have to be close to the mystery man. I hope whoever's listening is into this and trying to guess who this is. But Matt, take it away.
Right. So it's a volleyballer who's won the Champions League, the European Championships, and the Olympic Games, but not the World Championships. Shoe size of 14, right-handed, known for their spiking, 2 clubs, born in March 1988, 2 meters and 3 centimeters high, volleyball idol Sergei Tichukin. So you could have assumed he was Russian, and he confirmed he's Russian, and he's an opposite who wears the shirt number 17. So for me now, it's quite clear, but not confirmed. Tina, who do you think it is?
Yes, well, for me, with not being so much into indoor volleyball, I had to do a little bit of thinking on this and some help from the Google. And I was thinking that maybe it could be Maxim Mikhailov.
Wow.
But I'm not sure at all. So,
well, I
sounds like a March player. Born in March.
Two M's as well.
14 feet.
Well, I cannot confirm nor deny whether it is Maxim Mikhailov, but
so we still
next week we will know for sure. So
you can't be far away.
I don't want to say any more because I'm worried I'm going to give something away.
I mean, yeah.
Once in my life, keep my mouth shut as well.
You learn something new every day.
Yes.
You do. It's a learning curve.
Right, should we crack on with the topic then, the theme for today?
I can't wait for this. The NCAA, the college experience today, Tina. And this is the dream. So many athletes to play college sport or college volleyball, especially if you've been mates. Do you love it out there?
Yes, it's definitely a big privilege to be in a university, especially a Division I university, and for like a lot of American girls, it's such a good way how to get the education for much less money than it actually costs, because unfortunately the highest education in the US is like so expensive. But I would say for the European youth, for athletes, it's actually not that known about the advantages that you get by studying in the US.
What are some of those advantages?
The biggest one is that your studies and sport is very connected. So all the coaches, they're very aware, and there's actually a whole book of laws that they have to follow by to ensure that they don't step over the line of like coaching us too much. We have certain amounts of hours that we can practice a week, and the rest is meant for studying. And the same goes from the professors' part. They are aware of our athletic other side of our lives, which is the sport, and they are instructed from the university to respect or tournaments or training camps that we have to go to and miss some class.
Oh, how many training sessions do you have a week?
We have 6 volleyball sessions and 4 physical trainings, which amounts up to total of 20 hours a week. And you're not supposed to go over these 20 hours. If you do, then we are allowed to report our coaches to the office of something, and then they get in trouble.
Did you ever have to report anyone?
No, I have not, but other teams from other sports, they have done it, and they had to minimize their training in response to the fact that they went over the hours a few months ago.
Wow. And that's just the physical side of things, right? That you're allowed to do other, like, I don't know, mental sessions, scouting stuff on top of the 20, or is that all included?
No, it's all included. Your coach
right.
can contact you only for like 20 hours a week. But there are some different, I'm not sure exactly of all the technical aspects of this. The rules are very, very specific and a lot. So I just know that I shouldn't be on the court for more than 20 hours a week. And it's a lot of time, actually. It's quite enough to get all the practice in that you need.
And it's every week, so it doesn't matter if it's busy with exams or if you're quiet with exams. You have 20 hours practice every week.
Yes, that's true. Well, the only thing is that we have exams only at the very last week of each semester, so it's only 2 weeks in the school year, and that's in those weeks we do not have practice, thankfully.
Yeah, it's really it's an interesting topic, because it's very similar to what you'd train at home, really, isn't it? You wouldn't train more than 20 hours a week back in Latvia.
Yes, in Latvia we would train a little bit more, but the quality, well, no, the quality is also the same in both places. It's just in Latvia I train with more of a professional approach towards a specific goal, but in the United States, just because we're so many girls in one team, we're more than 16, and there's 2 coaches with 1 volunteer coach, and that is enough for everyone, but you don't have a full attention of your coach just on you. So we have to always remember that we're a team, and we're as strong as the weakest link of our team, and that's why we always work towards towards making our team better, not specifically maybe just us individuals.
So you won't in turn get sort of individual sessions from your coach. It will always be
individual sessions. No.
Interesting. So it's quite hard to get that constant feedback. I mean, something I love about coaching beach volleyball is that sort of 1 to 2 people, or the 1 to 4 people, and constantly having a dialogue going. Does it sort of is it frustrating at times not to have that dialogue, or are you quite happy working things out for yourself?
I'm quite happy to work things by myself, and I think it's just the American way of Americans value team sport a little bit higher, I think, than individual athletes, because it's in their eyes it's just more effort, more organization. It's harder to achieve great results with a bigger group of people, just technically, I think. And that's why they've made beach volleyball, which essentially is quite of an individualistic sport, they've made it into a team sport to like spice things up, to make it interesting, to make it harder for universities to win. And that reflects on the type of mentality we have in the trainings, on the type of mentality I have in competitions as well. And that's different from training just with my partner and my coach back home in Latvia here.
Yeah, very nice. Is it true that Anna Collier saw you play at the under-17s in Mexico, and that was
yes, and she put an eye on me and dragged me into the whole system. It's yes, it's true. My dad was there with me as well to cheer me on, help me there, and he had a good he started just introduce himself to Anna Collier, and he said, I have a daughter. And he was very sneaky back at the time. I had no idea he was talking about that stuff, but he said that she might maybe want to go to a university once she gets older at some point in her life. And Anna was like, oh wow, this is a good idea, I guess. And yeah, she contacted me a few years later out of a blue air, just had my Skype username and called me, and I was like, who is this? And she's like, Anna Collier, remember? So yes.
Is it true? Did you have dreams of going to a university in the States?
No, I had not. I wasn't aware of the opportunity yet that I could do that.
Okay. And what was the plan? What was plan B or the original plan prior to this becoming an opportunity?
Well, for me, always education is still very important, so I would structure my life around where I can study. If I hadn't gone to the United States, I would stay here in Latvia, study in a university here, probably the same topic, political science, and I would just play train volleyball here.
And I heard that you arranged your studies to have like the year off this year because of the Olympics.
Yes,
and
it was
everything is going to restart in 21, but obviously now the Olympics is in 21. What's the situation?
And I can't take back my gap year, which I have missed, and it's kind of funny, ironic. I've started to laugh about this, but it's actually pretty horrible, because I will have done literally nothing this year. We got 3 months off after September, and once we qualified for Tokyo, so that was just a vacation for me. Then we got just 2 months of training, and then the coronavirus started, so it's again nothing for me. So I have a truly empty year of doing nothing. But about the gap year, it was a very hard decision to make, to even take it. And I had to decide whether or not I want to take it a year before, which is so early. And a year before that, we weren't even a main draw team on the FIVB World Tour, and I had to tell my coach if I want to take a whole year off from university to try to go to Olympics, which in my eyes was so far off, unreachable goal that we probably will not make it. And I don't know why I decided, okay, I'd rather just actually try with my whole heart, like 100% do everything for the Olympic Games. And if I do not qualify, then it's just going to be an experience, a stepping stone that I can step on in the future for the next Olympic Games. But unfortunately, I did qualify, and it wasn't for Wayne to take the year off.
Because it was a bit of a gamble that paid off initially, and now it's kind of backfired a little bit.
Initially it did pay off perfectly, but now I could have still studied and be 1 year closer to finishing my studies and just be done.
And we've got to know you over these 3 episodes, and you're clearly a very driven, productive person. You like to achieve things and move forwards. How has it felt to do nothing?
It's a very it's not that nice of a feeling. because all my friends are in university. All my friends, some of them have finished their bachelor already and are going into their master degree. And I and yeah, since and I tell them that I'm so jealous of them, that they're like, they have already a degree, but then they tell me that they're jealous of me, that I have this volleyball and these achievements that I fight for here in my sphere. So it's just a matter of perspective of what you value most. And that's how it usually goes, that you think what other people have is better that you have, while actually it can be the other way around.
Yeah, it's another year to prepare for the Olympics. That preparation may be a little bit tougher with the studies, but it is another year.
Yes, exactly. And we'll see how we manage the actual training together, because the past 2 years we always met in May with Anastasia and just started playing. This year, I guess we'll maybe try to have a few practices in before the season starts, but we'll see how it goes, because if I'm in the university, I have, like, the rules are very strict. Like, I have sold my body to USC and they can do whatever they can with me. They pay for my education, for my housing, for my food. So they have the say of whether or not where I can go. But of course, I'm so lucky and fortunate with my coaches right now. Before with Anna Collier, right now with Dane Blanton and Gustava Rocha. They're wonderful, and they understand that I am right now an athlete and only then a student and a USC.
I was going to say, like, what's the influence of like Anna and Dane? Like, surely they're really supportive and they're in awe of what you're achieving as well when you're away from.
Yes, Anna Collier was and is still such a strong support that I feel that has my back and is always wishes me a good luck and is ready to help me whenever I need the help. And I have some good quotes written in my phone from her, not to forget what she's taught me. And Dane Blanton, I know him as my he was the second coach when I was still in USC, and right now he's the head coach. And he's just like a role model in general in life, about a gold medal athlete who's achieved so much in his life, and he's decided to help me now, to help us to do the same thing, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I was saying before that when you like won the Euros and when you qualified, like, because I worked from Hamburg, we like messaging me like, oh my days, what is even happening here? And yeah, he's definitely got your back, and I think he's going to love working with you when you get back to school. It's really intriguing. You're saying, that USC have in theory brought you. Can you let us know a little bit more into the struggle of like what you said in the opening episode about you don't receive prize money?
Yes,
and that must be really tough, because like you're earning prize money now, and it would genuinely really help you. How do you feel about that? Where does it go?
I'm fortunate enough that my parents, they like provide me housing here while I'm home, and in that sense I don't need to pay rent or stuff like that. And when I'm in the university, they provide me housing and also a stipend, which is for Latvia's levels quite a lot. And that's why financially I feel pretty well off. But of course, the money that I could have gotten if I would not be playing in USC, especially after this season, it's starting to increase more and more of what I need to say no to. But one common misconception is that a lot of people ask me that does the university get the money that I have to say no to, but it's not true. The prize money stays with the organizer of the tournament, so the university actually doesn't receive anything from it. All they care is that I don't receive it. But yes.
It's crazy.
That does seem strange, but I'm sure there's good reasons for it.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, crazy in the way that.
Yeah, the rules are mostly made for football players and basketball and baseball players, and only because it's equality for everyone, so all sports need to follow the same rules. But they just want to ensure that the college football players, American football players, that they don't get like $1 million deals and still get stipends and get to, so it's like more about them, but we have to follow the same rules.
That you can sort of like, you just see sort of things like Madden, how crazy that could, what level that could go to in basketball. And I completely get it.
Yeah.
So let's look at the stuff they do give you. You said they give you accommodation and stuff. So where in California are you based when you're over there? What's the living setup?
So USC, University of Southern California, is in Los Angeles, in South Central Los Angeles, which is not the nicest part. A lot of the parents are sometimes a little bit nervous about their kids going there because it's more of rundown part of the city, but it's no problem. If you take care of yourself, you'll be fine. But yes, as you know, Los Angeles is big, so there's all the beaches. We practice every Saturday morning. Our team goes to practice on the beach. We used to practice in Manhattan Beach. Now we'll go to Santa Monica because it's closer where Dane lives. Yes, so far I'm just still exploring the city and still finding new stuff every month, every day. And right now, currently, I'm actually taking a summer online class and studying about Los Angeles, and it's a very interesting city.
Did you know much about LA before you went there for college? Did you go there a few times, or?
No, I hadn't been there before ever, and I didn't know that much about it, only that it's a beach volleyball hotspot with a lot of good players. But just as much as I actually, when I went there, I finally realized what is LAX, and like, because why don't you just say the airport? Why do you have it called the LAX? It's kind of weird, and like stuff like similar stuff like that. That's what I found out.
Do you feel at home in LA? Does it feel homely to you?
No, not really. It's in USC, yes, but if I would live in the city like with a roommate somewhere, it's pretty scary. Like, you have to make a lot of connections, a lot of friends to finally feel at home. But the volleyball community, it is kind of like still pretty small. So if you live around Hermosa, Manhattan Beach, then yes, you can run into a lot of people in your while you're grocery shopping or stuff like that. So that's like a family that will never go away if you keep playing.
They missed you this year as well, didn't they?
I think, I don't know. Well, with the friends that I talk with, yes, of course, I miss them very much. I think they miss me as well. At least everyone says that they're excited when I will come back, and me too. It's gonna be. I love new like challenges, new journeys, and we'll have a lot of new girls on the team. And I finally want to win the NCAA championship. Like, I want to get the famous ring that everyone's talking about, or something like that. I don't know. That would be nice.
4 matches though in the time that you've been there. Is your record something like 64-4? Is that correct? I might be wrong.
Yes. We lost 2 games each season.
That's some record.
Yes, but of course you can imagine I'm very disappointed about the 4 games we lost.
But there's 64 you won.
Those are nothing. I'm focusing on the ones that we could have won. Out of those 4, 2 were for McNamara twins, and the other 2 were the type of games where we made our own mistakes, and it's like they didn't win, we just lost, we let them win. So those are the ones that I'm thinking about when I can't fall asleep.
When you go back, will you have the same partner? Is she still there, or
No, she graduated on my sophomore year, and Abril Bustamante, we had such a great connection on the court. I felt it was amazing to play with her. But that's the also very exciting part coming back next year, because I don't know who my partner will be, and I just can't wait to like see who, like figure out who this girl will be, and just like work on something together to create a good team. And yes.
And unlike Latvia, which we talked about last episode, you will be put with someone. So this will be a coach selection, or will you choose?
In Latvia, you can choose as well. Me and Anastasia, we just happened to be in the 1 year where they did put the teams together.
Okay.
But in Latvia, we don't even have the choice of choosing any other player to play again together with. Like, I am the only blocker, and Anastasia is the only defender. There literally isn't anybody we could even substitute if one of us got a injury or something. So.
And in USC, who will choose your partner?
The coaches. They have all the say. They're the main ones, and we can only make suggestions or say our preferences. But at the end of the day, they will decide which tactical mix of the teams will make the most sense. Because sometimes you don't even want to put the two best players together. Maybe you want to spread out the strong players in from teams 1 to 5, and because you don't want to win strongly only one team and then lose all the other teams. You want 3 wins out of the 5.
And how does the season work? Will you have the same partner for the whole year?
Usually you do, but you can mix. Yeah, you can mix. It doesn't matter. The girls, they just literally have to play with whoever they're told to play with. That's on that day. When I was still playing there, my sophomore year, some girls, they came in, they woke up in the morning and they still didn't know who they're going to play with together. I don't think that was the best type of way how to deal with the challenges of this.
The preparation. Yeah, the preparation of it all. It's nice to know who you're playing with and how to go about it the next day. Definitely. Do you think is there anything that you would change so far about your college experience? Or
yes,
is there anything differently?
I would. There's very little to change because everything's so perfect there. They've thought about all the little details. The one thing I would change is I would maybe not train as much in the fall because our season starts only at the end of March and at the end of February, March, something like that. And it's such a long preparation for such a short period of time. And I would maybe change the way we train a little bit, but that's not my call. And obviously it's good for me to train hard no matter which month of the year it is.
That has a problem with your motion towards training and sort of just the overall sort of day-to-day makes it tough?
Yes, and what maybe makes it tough for me personally is the fact that I spend the whole summer playing FIVB, so I don't really get the chance to rest while the other girls mostly do, and then they come into the school year ready to start training again. But I feel that I need to take a little pause, regroup a little bit.
This is also a great time then for that sort of pause and to have a bit more of quiet time.
Yes, my body definitely is thanking me right now.
Work up nicely to 2021 by the time you start training again. And
yes, it's going to be a crazy year, so full of everything.
Have you had the chance to travel and explore much in the USA? Did you manage to travel a bit, or are you so busy?
We have gone to USA a lot as a family when I was younger, and we went to California, to San Francisco, New York, and stuff like that. But while I've been studying, not that much. This year, when I took the gap year, I went to LA just for fun to see my friends, and I ended up going to National Park of Zion. I don't know if you've heard it, but if you Google Zion and look at the pictures, it looks like you've left the earth and you're on this different planet, which looks like paradise. And I spent 3 days hiking there. It was so nice, and I would love to do something similar again. And Also, a city that really impressed me was Las Vegas, but that's because of a tournament, the 4-star that happened there, and I was blown. My mind was blown. I wasn't. I couldn't have imagined that a city like that can exist on this planet, because it literally feels like you're in a video game. It feels like you look at the buildings and the people and the lights, and it doesn't look like you're in real life. It looks like you're a character in a movie or a video game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Vegas is crazy place when you first go for the first time. California's just has everything, doesn't it? Like it's such a sort of diverse, but something there for everyone. Could you see yourself living there after you finish studying? You see yourself?
No, I think I will return to Europe at least, and probably Latvia, of course, because as far as I want to keep playing professionally, I have to be where my partner is, and Anastasia, she lives here in Latvia. But just personally, as a person, I would enjoy having like a house in California for sure, but that's of course is so expensive that probably I would not have enough money to do that. But yeah, I wouldn't want to live there all year round.
There's always Scotland, Edinburgh.
Yes, Scotland, that's the calling for me. Definitely.
One place, this is my favorite place in the world, is Whitefish in Montana. So up on the north of the state. So if you get a chance to go there, and judging from what you tell us around hiking, and I know you went off on your bike recently, you'd love it there. Absolutely love it there.
Say it again.
Whitefish, Montana.
Whitefish. I will look it up. Definitely. Thank you.
It's called the Big Sky Country. I've been there skiing, but also been there in the summer where there's lakes, and really is my favorite place in the world. So there you go. I'll swap your Zion for Whitefish, Montana as a recommendation.
Right. I'll write that down.
Being a king, I might have to go there. You once said, Tina, that you don't want to disappear in the USA.
That's the thing that pops up when you search my name in Google, right?
No, absolutely not.
That's a very old article.
Yeah, I just it was worth touching on because I did a bit of digging around for this interview. It certainly hasn't been the case, is it? It's almost been the opposite.
Yes. When I had that interview, that was my first year into USC, pretty early on, and the attitude towards volleyball players going to United States here in Latvia is not the most positive. I with my example have changed the view on this a little bit, but not that much, because all the previous players who've got a scholarship there and went, almost not a single one of them have kept playing volleyball after they finish their collegiate career. And so people were saying that in America they just like take everything from you and like don't really care that much about you as a persona, and they just want you to play for the team. Doesn't matter if you're injured, just play. They're gonna put some painkillers in you, just go and play, take the points. And that's why a lot of the girls got very bad injuries. And yes, and that's why I said that I don't want to disappear in the United States. I want to make an example where other girls can look at me and say that it doesn't matter that if they're going to go to US, it doesn't mean that they will not play for the national team, that they will not come back to Latvia, that they will not represent their country. So that's what I meant by saying that.
College volleyball strange, isn't it? Like that, because it almost feels that for lots of the Americans, that stage is the biggest stage that they'll play on, and that is it for them. Yes. Because the exit route is not so at the moment.
Yes, and that's a very big difference between the mentality of European players and American players, because for the American girls, like the college girls seem like the stars. That's like all they ever want to be when they grow up, and that's why it feels like their career is going to the end when they finish college. But for Europeans, it's not that. It's not the
It's almost
same.
like a stepping stone, isn't it?
It
for
is
Europeans?
only a stepping stone, exactly. And that's how I've been treating USC as well.
I think that
Fascinating.
explains quite a lot of the success, and you have a clear route through from being a track athlete through to a college superstar, and someone who's qualified for the Olympics already. What do you feel that being at USC has taught you? So is there any lessons or have you come back a different person? Has it aided?
Oh yes, I can feel in myself that I am a different person. I've adopted a little bit of the American extrovert characteristics in my character as well. I've learned how to small talk with people.
That's an important skill.
It's such an important skill, and it's like on the highest levels in the United States. If you don't know how to do that, you're lost in the social scene. So that's something I learned, and I'm very appreciative that I have had the chance to learn it. But volleyball wise, what I love about USC, it really pushes their athletes to be leaders, to be scholarly, courageous. So we have all these words that are team words that we choose at the beginning of the year, what we want to embody, and these values. And USC has taught me that being an athlete is something, it's a responsibility. It's not just trying to get fame and get money and get good results. It's a responsibility towards other people that look up to you, other people that just enjoy watching your game, and you have to show yourself, you have to be respectable and yeah, I'm missing words a little bit to say right now. Some adjectives that I would probably be able to say if I had been studying there this year as well. I've forgotten a little bit about them, but yes, it's the integrity that USC has taught me. And actually, maybe a little side note that I would want to go into is, interestingly, the fact that we in the United States we can't play in bikinis. We play in shorts and a shirt, and it's actually such a big difference mentally, how I feel on the court, and in the sense that when I play in college, it feels more like I truly represent just USC and I fight for this university, and it's not about me, about my body, because let's be honest, some people just do watch beach volleyball just because of like looks. And this rule that we have to play in like shirts, it changes the mentality, how you feel about what you fight, what you play for.
Would you like to see that done on the world tour as well, in CV tour?
No, because it is more comfortable to play in a bikini. Or uniform. It's not like we put it on just to look good or something like that. But it does change how you think about yourself a little bit.
Because I have these discussions with some of my friends that are not from volleyball, and I'm sure Louis, you have them. But I always say, if a sport is played on the beach and it's hot, what are they going to wear? In reality, what would you wear? I mean, it's going to be a bikini or shorts and a vest.
Yeah, that's such a good argument, actually. And I've written essays, I've researched this topic, and the fact is that it's not even a law that we have to wear the bikinis. We can actually wear whatever, basically almost we want, like long sleeves, whatever.
Yeah.
It's truly, it comes down to the fact that I want to feel the most comfortable on the court.
Yeah. It is called beach volleyball, so therefore, naturally, bikini, shorts, and vests.
Yes.
The amazing, really, really amazing quote though. Like, really sort of, it was really interesting. Thanks. It was a good one to share. Anything else from your time in California? Is there anything you would? We're going to ask you in just a moment for our last feature, sort of some tips. But before we ask you for your tips on getting a scholarship in the USA, would you recommend it to any young volleyballers? Because I know, having been in New Zealand and Australia during the winter doing some work, and UK, it's something that so many young athletic girls who play volleyball are shooting towards as being a big goal for them. Would you recommend it? Has it been everything you thought it would be?
Yes, I would really recommend it. It's you get a lot of good connections, you get a lot of good experience, and you just have the opportunity to stay off the adult world a little bit. Like, you don't have to go work yet, you don't have to think about how am I going to combine training and my job and or studies, because like you have some people have to do all those three together, and then most often they just choose to stop training. So that's the perfect place where you can keep the beach volleyball part of your life still intact.
And me and Matt are in our 30s now, and we're still trying to keep the beach volleyball part of our life.
Yes, yes, and it's hard. It's not that easy, right?
Yeah, it gets more difficult as you
As you get older. Yeah, good to know.
Last question from me. Small talk. That was what I wanted to ask about. You've now taken small talk back to Latvia. How's that gone?
It's gone in the way that now Anastasia tells me that I have to be the one who starts the conversations with everyone. She's the one just standing, and I'm the one who approaches people, but I don't mind. I like it.
Do you find that's the biggest cultural difference between Latvia and the USA?
Oh yes, definitely. I as a Latvian, before going to USC, I would just not know how to start the conversation with like people I don't know. But maybe it's just my personal character, because of course there are some people here that are naturally well in small talk.
I was going to say, I've worked with a lady from Latvia, and she was great at the small talk.
Oh,
But
okay.
she has spent a lot of time out of Latvia. So,
oh,
yeah.
who is that?
Sama Ritra. I never know how to say her second name, but Sama Ritra. You would know her. She's from the beach volleyball scene. She did some refereeing and stuff.
Yeah, I think I know her. Yes.
Yeah. She worked in our department for a year and a bit, maybe. So
yes.
Yeah, but the small talk is the same with my wife. My wife is from the Netherlands, and she hates the idea of small talk, let alone doing the small talk.
Yeah,
so whenever she just pushes me, she's like, "Go and talk to them, start talking, and then we'll." Yeah.
It's an art that exists only in English.
maybe it's the language thing. Right. Shall we wrap up then with our feature? I'm interested in this as well, not for myself, clearly, as Louis has already given away my age, but for loads of people, a college scholarship is an option they are thinking about. So what tips could you give to anyone, male, female, who is looking to work towards and eventually hopefully receive a college scholarship?
Yes. Okay. So I have prepared some tips. And the most important one of them is, of course, you have to show good results. You have to be a good player by yourself. You can't just lie your way out of how much you know, how much of a good player you are. But the other tip would be that you have to establish a personal contact with the coaches. A lot of people do just emails, but actually it's better if you just take up the phone and call them. Like 90% of time they will not mind at all that somebody calls them. It's their job at the end, and in that way the person leaves a stronger impression and you get remembered. Also emails also are necessary. So the third tip is that sometimes they do get lost, and when you're trying to contact a coach and trying to show that they should take you as a recruit, then sometimes you just have to catch their attention. And I've heard that some girls put their best achievement right on the subject line, and that apparently catches the attention of the coaches. Also, it's good to have a highlight video of you playing. That doesn't hurt so that the coaches can visualize you. And yes, and finally, if you have the chance, you should go and play in the underage international tournaments, because those are the best stages where young players can prove themselves, and that's where that's where most of the people I know that come from international backgrounds have been recruited, just like myself included. And that's why if you show a good result there, you might not even need to write all those emails or call all those coaches. They will call you. And unfortunately, that is the harsh truth, that all these tips, they can help you, but at the end of the day, it all comes down of just how good of a player you are.
And a little bit, I assume, of luck and timing. Like timing, I always say, is everything. So to be in the same place as that coach, for example, for you, and for your dad to have that conversation, that's a little bit of planning from his side, but also a little bit of timing and luck as well.
Yes, exactly, timing and luck. But Anna Collier, she was already then a USC coach, but when I reached the age of when I could be actively recruited, other universities that I hadn't met the coaches also tried to contact me. So it's not that important if you happen to meet the coach in some tournament in the last years. It's just also the result.
How many offers did you have?
I had the three I remember was USC, UCLA, and Stanford. And then USC was USC was the choice I made.
Was that a difficult choice?
Yes,
or was
because,
it always kind of that direction you were leaning?
No, not at all. I wasn't even sure if I want to go to United States to study. So in my perspective, it didn't matter in which university I go if I end up going. And also I didn't I hadn't grown up with knowing which university is good. Like if I would be if I would grow up in the United States, I would probably already hear some stuff or something like that, but I had to research everything on Google. But my dad helped me very much because he grew up in the United States himself. He's very much into sports, so he knew what direction I should be going into.
Fascinating.
It's been amazing, Tina. We're finished. I'm sad about it. You've been charming and very, very interesting. It's made a great episode.
Thank you. Always pleasure to share my experience.
It's been great also to have the birds in the background whilst we've been doing these.
Yes,
beautiful backdrop,
I'm in
Louis.
my garden. I hope it doesn't disturb you.
No, it's lovely. I was thinking of adding it to future ones, kind of faking it, have these bird noises every now and again. No, it's lovely.
Some waves in well, maybe in the background.
Maybe I should just do the green screen and put myself on the beach, right?
Yeah, on Zoom that is possible, but we won't do that.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, brilliant. Thank you.
We wish you nothing but so much luck when it comes back round your way next year, with weapons going back to school and then playing the Olympic Games. And we just think that you have such a bright future in the sport, and you're already on your way to being a superstar of it. But thank you so much for making the time to come on and share these.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, for inviting me.
I think everyone's going to enjoy this trilogy a lot. Matt, that's it. Another one done.
How good
done.
Woohoo!
Yeah, really good. And obviously, once we finish these features with the star players, we're going to kind of convert a little bit and start doing a little bit more live podcasting, so around what is happening in the weeks, etc. So looking forward to that. These features have been brilliant, but with activity starting again, so we need to adapt and bring it on.
Yeah, we're going to have competitions going on again. During when we get to play, or I won't be playing it, but Tina's playing again, podcasting and talking about it.
Yeah,
we honestly can't wait, and really excited about this podcast because so far it's so much fun to do. So thank you very much, Matt, and thank you to our listeners. Make sure that you subscribe, tell your friends, and suggest guests. You can even send us the questions to talk to the world's best. Use the hashtag #LetVolleyballTalk. Finally, from myself, Louis Let, the A Space and the CEV. It's another great episode. Thank you very much for listening, and we look forward to having you again sometime very, very soon.